Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your NBA betting picks for Friday. Yeah, big slate of games. We've had really small slates all week because of the NBA Cup and all those scheduling rearrangements. But we've got 7 games for tonight. It's 12-12. December 12th, everybody is playing ones and twos being wild today. Don't forget, if you want in on our top plays, got a couple different ways you can get in. 10% off promo code gets you 10% off any of our plays. So if you want the individual day plays for, say, basketball, that could be NBA, college basketball, NHL. Even if you want the individual football plays, you can use this all the way through Monday. Gift 10 saves you 10%. If you want in our football pass, all the football plays are out. They come out Thursday at 6 p.m., so you can get in on those. I had 5 yesterday. I see. How many did you have?
5. Yeah,
so a total of 10 plays this week. Just for $99, you get both of our plays for this week. DocSports.com/Craig Arun. We didn't have any plays on Thursday, so they're all still up between Saturday and Monday. So make sure you get on that, including the top plays. The top plays aren't sold. They are sold separately, but they are included in this pass. So that 10% off promo code will not work with this, FYI, because it's already 50% off. And then don't forget about YouTube Premium. Very simple. This is the extra plays that we do that doesn't make our card. So instead of just throwing those out so nobody gets them, we put them in the YouTube Premium area. You can get in as 3 separate levels. The prices are per month here, and click the link in the description. And as you see, if you get in level 3, you get all 3 levels. Level 2, you get 1 and 2. Level 1, obviously, just level 1. All right, NBA for today. Let's kick us off. IC will take this one. Indiana Pacers at the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia's favored by 7.5. Total 229.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, look, the Pacers are a Jekyll and Hyde team. They're 6-18. Philadelphia is 13-10 here. What's interesting about this is that these two teams haven't met this year, which you would think after 24 games they would have already at least met once. The Pacers come off big wins, beating the Kings and the Bulls. Yes, they are 6-18, but what if I told you they're 4-2 out of their last 6? Philadelphia is just kind of cruising right now. They're 13-10, coming off a loss to Lakers, 108-112, but beating the Bucks, Golden State, and Washington before that. They have Atlanta on deck. That Lakers loss was a bit of a tough loss for them. That was a game in which Maxey played, and he went 28 points. Part of this depends on if Maxey will play or not. Embiid, by the way, Craig, do you know Embiid went?
Sounds like he is playing. FYI, I did check it before.
Yeah. Do you know Embiid went 4 for 21 on his last game?
He's not had a good year. Look at his stats on the year. He has not been good this year.
No, he went. I mean, if he shoots even a little bit better, they beat the Lakers. I mean, they lost 108-112, and I actually like Indiana plus the 7.5. I think Indiana continues to stay hot. It's a fantastic public fade. All right, Craig, Chicago here minus 2.5 or the money line here on the road against Charlotte. Chicago started the year off pretty hot, and then of course they've tailed off. They're 9-14. Charlotte's only 2 wins behind at 7-17. Charlotte already beat them 123-116 not that long ago. That was about 6 games ago.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on all the great content we have here at Doc Sports.
Well, who do you like here?
You got to be glutton for punishment if you go back to the well and bet Bulls after all this struggles. I mean, 1-9 against the spread in their last 10 games. And early in the year, they were a darling for us bettors. I mean, they were money. But man, since the first about 8 to 9, 10 games, this team has been one of the worst in the league, including, like you said, losing to the same Charlotte team. Charlotte's just the opposite. They've gotten healthy. They're 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games. They're a feisty underdog type team. I think the wrong team's favorite here. This is perception only. Like, oh, Chicago's just wait. They have not been good. And it's not been close. And their wins, if you go back about the last 15 games, their wins against the worst teams too. So they haven't really beat anybody. Give me Charlotte here plus 2.5. I think Charlotte's coming along here a little bit, especially when they're underdogs at home. I'm taking Charlotte. I'm going to take them on the money line. In fact, I think they win outright and give us a little extra value, probably in that plus 105 to plus 110 range. Charlotte wins. Next game, Atlanta Hawks at the Detroit Pistons. The Hawks continue to be one of the more disrespected teams. It's like because they look at the big name guys on the sideline, this team has played better without Trae Young and Porzingis than when they were there. Yep. And yet you continue to get them as underdog. I know Detroit's good, 19-5 on the year, but Detroit's favored by 7 here, total 233.5. Can your Hawks keep up this hot streak? I mean, they just continue to roll.
Well, one thing about my Hawks is that they've always had depth recently, right? They've continued to have depth, and Okongwu had 21, Johnson had 30 in his last game, Risa Shea, Daniels, all those draft picks that they just collected over the years. Connected with Risa Shea was a draft pick. Okongwu was a draft pick. He came over all this young talent. Alexander Walker was that free agent pickup, and then you have Krejci and Kennard and Newell. I mean, who was from the Bulldogs. I mean, this team almost had 8 guys in double figures last game against Washington. That's pretty darn good. Okay, so you combine that with Atlanta winning that game 131 to 116, and they only lost by 1 point 10 days ago to Detroit. Ever since then, they lost the Clippers, they lost the Nuggets, and then they beat Washington as a minus 9.5 point chalk, which is an interesting line because the Rockets are also favored by that over the Clippers, but they didn't cover that tonight, but that's a different story. Detroit comes in having beaten Milwaukee. They have Boston on deck. They beat Portland as well. Milwaukee, it's not like the Pistons are covering. They've lost 4 in a row as far as ATS-wise, okay? So keep that in mind, and they shot 50% the last game. There's only one way for it. I'm going to take the dog. Definitely I'm going to take the Hawks plus the 7. They have the revenge. They're playing well right now. They're running 10 deep who can have 10 guys who can score in the double digits. And the Pistons could be looking ahead to Boston. So I'm going to take my Hawks here plus the 7. All right, Craig, Cleveland here against Washington. Steady, heavy favorite here, minus the 15. Total of 242.5. Cleveland beat them 148 to 115. Cleveland's also won the last 10 between these two teams. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Washington shows some pride after losing by, around 20 points, 30 points, 33 points last time. Cleveland, of course, coming off a loss to Golden State, so that's going to motivate them by 5. Washington, of course, comes into this game losing 3 straight, including by 15 to the Falcon or to my Hawks. What do you think happens here? Do you think that these Wizards can show some pride? Or do you think the Cavs bounce back after a loss?
Well, it's not like either one of these teams have been good against the spread. I think I believe Cleveland's 2-5 against the spread their last 7 games. Washington's 1-4, I believe, against the spread. So it's not like and Washington's getting big numbers every time. I mean, they have lost just some embarrassing 15 to Atlanta, 45 to Boston, 19 to the Philadelphia 76ers. There's only one way to play this, and you got to lay the points with Cleveland. Cleveland kind of needs a blowout type game. I know, there's a revenge spot. That's the one worry, coming back from a blowout earlier. But it doesn't seem like Washington has a whole lot of pride. I hate to say that, but, you look at the results, it kind of speaks for itself.
You don't see the Wizards' pride?
No. And, a lot of it's because Washington, a lot of these guys didn't start there either. So it's like, you have these guys brought in. So it's like, I didn't grow up with this franchise. I have nothing built into this. And a lot of these guys, these veterans, are going to be traded or, bought out at the trade, around the trade deadline. So I think there's like, why am I risking everything? Take Cleveland minus the points. I wouldn't go crazy on this because I don't like laying more than double digits consistently in the NBA.
How's it? Sign up for our free $60 of the premium selections, which is DocSports.com/ICCT. You get free $60 of the premium selection so you can try us out. It's the best way to kind of thank us for all the hard work that we do, along with liking and subscribing and joining on YouTube Premium.
Next game, I think is a good matchup here. Utah Jazz, they're underdog here at Memphis. Memphis favored by 6.5, total 239.5. I mean, don't look now. Another team that played better once their supposed superstar, Ja Morant, went out. This team's been very good lately. 7-3 straight up in the last 10 games. Just as good for better, 7-3 against the spread. What do you like here?
Well, I wanted to go against Utah, but the problem was they got down 45-20 in the last game against Oklahoma City, so they could show some pride. In the same token, like you were saying, Memphis is 7 of 9 over the last 9 games and covered 7 of 9. When they win, they cover, right? Every game that they've won over the last 7 games, they've covered all those games. The ones they lost, they didn't cover. Memphis, of course, routed Portland 119 to 96, which is pretty impressive. Portland's not a horrible team, in my opinion. Keep in mind that Zach Edey is going to be out for a couple of weeks, so that could motivate them. You still have I think Ja is still listed as questionable due to his calf as well. This can go either way. They haven't played this year either. I mean, Utah could be motivated coming off of a bad loss, but Memphis could be motivated without Edey, right? It can go either way. What I do like is the over probably in this game. I think what will happen is even without Edey, I think they'll be pretty successful. Utah gave up 146 and 131 the last 2 games. You have a Memphis team that put up 119 on Portland and 107 on the Clippers. This is going to be one of the easiest defenses they've played all year. Kind of reminds me of the Pelicans game when they went to 133 to 128. This total came out at 239.5. I know it's crazy, but I would have even taken this total over 242. I'm going to take the over here between Utah and Memphis today for this evening on Friday night now. All right, Craig, Brooklyn here, plus the 8 dog against Dallas. These two teams haven't met this year. Brooklyn coming in, beating the Pelicans 119 to 101. Don't look now, but yes, Brooklyn is 6-17, but 3 of their last 4 wins come in their last 4 games, beating the Pelicans, Charlotte, and Chicago. I mean, I actually thought they were playing pretty well lately. I mean, they have Claxton, Porter Jr. 35. He might be an all-star this year. They had about 11 guys in the box score last game, which is pretty impressive. Sorry, 10 guys in the box score last game. Dallas comes in off of a huge win against Houston, 122-109. They also beat Miami, Denver, and the Clippers. Now they're 9-16. And you were right the other day. As soon as they get Anthony Davis back, they get better. It's interesting how that works. Davis, Washington, Flagg, Marshall, Nembhard, and Williams. And they're looking to get some depth here. What do you like here? These two teams haven't met. I'll tell you, the spot for Brooklyn is that they've covered 3 of their last 4 and won 3 of their last 4. The spot for Dallas is they've also won 4 of their last 5.
They've both been hot. If you just said of all the games tonight, who was the teams that both are 3-1 or 4-1 their last 5 games, you would not be looking at this one and be like, yeah, I think that would be the 2 teams. Because let's be honest, on the year, both of them have somewhat been disappointing if you look at the whole season as a whole. But you can't do that because sometimes, people figure things out. You get healthier. Like you said, Anthony Davis coming back has had a big impact on Dallas. I think this is a Brooklyn team. We talked about Washington earlier. Washington has no pride. Brooklyn has shown a little pride lately. And I think it's reflected in tonight's line. I think it's right where it should be, though, and that always makes me a little nervous. So when it's like, hey, I think the line should be 7.5, 8, 8.5, and it's right in the middle at 8, I don't find a whole lot of value in that game as a side. I do like a total here. I do like the over. I think Dallas is finding ways to get easier baskets. And when they do, then you have to collapse in the paint. I think it's going to open up the three-point shots tonight for Dallas. I do think Brooklyn likes to play a little faster. You do not want to play that defense in Dallas half court. You have to push the pace. Dallas is very good in defense in the half court, but if you play them up and down, all those big guys get tired. So I like the over in this matchup. You don't see a whole lot of overs in the low 220s. This is 222.5. I like the over in this matchup. Next game, return of Steph Curry here. Golden State's favored by 3.5 against Minnesota. Total 228.5. They say there's not going to be a huge minutes restrictions on Steph Curry. I kind of wonder about that, though, because obviously we've seen this team without him. They really struggle. You cannot afford to get him out there and re-injure anything. What do you like here?
Well, I mean, there's some interesting guys that are out for the Timberwolves. First of all, you might have Anthony Edwards. He's listed as day-to-day, but I don't think he's going to be playing. He's listed as questionable with foot soreness, right? And then you have Mike Conley, who's out with his Achilles injury. And then you had Rudy Gobert, who was ejected recently as well. Draymond is out for personal reasons. Al Horford remains sidelined with a sciatica issue, but Steph is scheduled to return. Given all of this, and this game sitting at 228.5, I actually like the over here a little bit. But then again, whenever Steph comes back, typically everybody jumps on the over, so that kind of worries me too. I'm going to surprise you here. I don't think they play as well with Steph coming back. I think Minnesota losing to Phoenix, right, in their last game, I think that's going to motivate them. That was a game where I felt like Phoenix came back in that game to win, and Minnesota lost at home, okay? And they still have Gobert and McDaniels and Randall, and Edwards might be out. But I think it's sort of like, and Conley might be out too. You know how teams respond when their star player is out. So even if Conley is out, and even if I think Edwards could play or couldn't play, but I'm going to take the points here. I think that's decent to take the plus the 3.5 here. I know Steph's coming back, but a small lean on Minnesota without their stars, and I just don't think Golden State wins 3 in a row. So yeah, that's what I like. I'm going to take Minnesota plus 3.5, but it's not going to be on my card.
All right, that's what we like for all the NBA games. Don't forget, put in the comments what you like. Tell us what you think. Don't forget, we're going to have a ton of other stuff. Click the playlist at the end of this video. That way you can get the football play. We have every football game covered, including all the bowl games coming up. We do a ton of college basketball. We do NHL, everything. So make sure you check it all out and hit those comments and tell us what you like for today yourself. Don't forget about the 10% off code. GIFT10 saves you 10% off. I'm going to have a top play in the NBA tonight. IC's probably going to have, he thought, a top play in college hoops. So you can use this, go over to the grid and use this on any of those. It's $30 per day. So that becomes 27 with the 10% off. It's $99 for a week, say, of NBA or college basketball. So that becomes $89. So, and then don't forget, football plays are all out for the weekend for both of us. That code will not work on this because it's already 50% off. 2 for 1. You get both of us, $99, a total of 10 plays this week. They're all still available. We did not have a Thursday night football play. So between Saturday and Monday, you're going to get 10 plays in NFL and college football. Make sure you get in on it. Also, don't forget about the YouTube Premium. Click the link in the description below and get in on all the extra plays we have here at YouTube. Good luck, and I'll see you again tomorrow.